My name is Jim Huisheere. I was born on a farm just a half a mile east of here in 1943.
My great-grandpa moved down into Rock County in 1926. My grandpa in 29, he moved down into Bradford Township. It was a half mile east of our home farm now that we're on.
My dad milked cows all his life. Them days there was not a lot of cars. Everything was done with horses. And in 1948, my dad bought the first tractor, which sits in my shed yet today.
My dad took over in 65 and milked cows until January of 76. And then we moved over onto the farm where we're at now, and I was 9 at the time. I can remember helping Dad do chores and stuff over there, and I was kind of a get into everything kind of a kid, and we had the electric fence running along the lane, and the cows were out in the pasture, and boys were being mean to my dogs and my cats. And we were walking down along that fence, and I said, "Don't touch that. That wire's hot." And he's like, "Nah, it's not hot." And I said, "No, grab a hold of it." And he grabbed a hold of that fence, and he did somersaults down the lane. And Dad was cultivating corn out in the field. I think he took out 4 rows of corn when he saw that because he was laughing so hard.
We started getting bigger equipment. We started renting more land, and at one time we were up to around 1,800 acres, and we were running a lot of land the year I got burnt.
When the crisis happens and somebody gets hurt or somebody has a heart attack or somebody passes away during harvest or planting, that the rest of the farm families in the community come together and help each other out. I know twice our families had that happen. In '88, my dad had a heart attack at 44 years old, and it was right through harvest. And my uncle and a couple other neighbors gathered the crew up, and they had a half dozen or dozen combines and all the trucks and everything. They came in, and I think they picked about 400 or 500 acres of corn in one day. There was another one when Dad got burnt and was laid up. You know, they came together again and helped out at that time. And when we got done, all of the wives and families all got together in the shop, and we sat down and had a big meal afterwards.
Being a rural community, you always help one another. It was just something that you did.
Beef cattle is our primary. We've got 60 cows right now. Trying to cut back just a little bit and make them better quality and less quantity. I try to get rolling by 6 in the morning or a little after. When we're in the fields and it's go time, then you get up earlier and get rolling and you work long hours. And there's nights that this past spring, there were nights we ran till 10:30 at night. One night I was on a roll and we were getting late putting beans in. We run till midnight, 1 o'clock. There's struggles, but it's Mother Nature most of the time, and you never know what hand you're going to get dealt. In the 90s, some of the land that we had rented was sold off, and we had to make a choice on what we were going to do. And at that time, I went to town and worked for 20 years, and Dad continued to farm, and then I helped him with it.
Dan was working at the forge, okay. And he had a lot of stress down there at the forge, and he would come home, and some nights it was sometimes a little tight. And then he called me one morning, and he says, "Dad, I retired from the forge. I'm done with it." I couldn't believe it. Then after that, when I got to work with him again for 3 or 4 days, and I went home one night and I said to my wife, I says, "You know what? I got my son back again. It's a family again." That's the way I feel, and I just feel real proud that I can get this farm signed over into his name.
I just like being in the outdoors. You know, it's the getting up and going out in the morning and do chores, and at the end of the day, having that feel of accomplishment that you've done something during the day and you've accomplished something good. And now I'm back on the farm and gonna buy Dad out and take things over here and continue to farm, and my son is gonna be involved with it, and hopefully my grandson.